It's a rarity when a shoot-'em-up side-scroller game surprises me. Side-scroller platformers are an extremely saturated category nowadays, although sometimes there are some gems that come out here and there to really show the strengths of this category, even with its simplicity. So I found another one to add to that bucket list of 6 side-scroller platformers. I just recently played Shooting Saucer. It's this really cute, adorable game made by one of the developers of Shovel Knight Dig. Shooting Saucer has a very similar resemblance to difficulties of like old NES games, but it doesn't punish you too hard here. The game is very fair. Most of the deaths, if not all of them, are usually your fault. When I started playing the game, not only was I surprised how smooth and tight the controls are, but in general how rigorously tested and bug-free it is. And it's very replayable on top of that, which I will talk about further a little bit later. The main character of this game is this little red octopus alien-looking thing called Piggy. It starts off with this really cute little cutscene of you and another one of your species having a picnic, and then something bad happens, and their partner gets corrupted or something, and then starts chasing them with the saucer, and that's how the game begins. The saucer doesn't chase you immediately, so you get to quickly test out your controls on the first screen of the game, which is pretty smart. While traversing, you collect these little orbs that you can find all around, which levels you up slowly as you get to a max of 3 levels, which each level increases your damage. On level 2, you start getting homing on your bullets, and on the 3rd level, it makes you multi-shot with the main character. The extra levels also act as hit points, so you can take a bit more of a beating, while losing your level in the process though. I have to say it again, the controls are super tight in this game. And they really have to be in this type of game, to be honest. If not, it will just not work if the controls were sloppy. But anyway, your objective is pretty much running away from the saucer, as it's continuously forcing you to push forward into the level. There's a lot of sense of urgency because of it. And because of that, you gotta really sometimes time out what you're gonna do and what platforms you're gonna take to jump up. I've had multiple times where I either had to sacrifice the extra orbs or, not dying. The game does punish you a little bit for dying, and if you lose all your lives, you'll start at the very beginning of the game. Although getting lives back is fairly easy once you get the hang of the controls of the game. Once you're level 3 and collect more orbs, you get 1-ups as well, so you can just keep stacking more and more lives, so it's pretty easy. The levels that you traverse in this game are varied and really cute. I'm really liking the very basic, simple art style. And even though it's simple, it just works so well. Alongside with the music selection, it's just perfect. Have a listen to some of them. It's so nice to listen to. But yeah, back to replayability. This is not the only character you can play too. So Piggy is like the most default character in this game. Like the most comfortable to play, easy to play. The most normal character. The developer added 2 more characters that you can play from the beginning. And you can play out the whole game over again with these other 2 characters. That completely changes the gameplay. So there's Paraffin, which is this like walking candle that has like an aura of the fire of the candle, and this aura does damage, so you can't really shoot, you just have to get close to them and damage them that way, which is interesting. Scary sometimes, actually, especially the boss fights. And leveling up Paraffin makes the aura bigger and bigger, so it makes it a lot easier. It's like very risky if you don't know the enemy's movements, but it is very interesting. And then the 3rd character, the hardest one in this game, which is also my favorite. Their name is Tur. You play as this little penguin thing that shoots weak bullets at enemies, right? And instead of getting orbs and leveling up, what it does is every time you grab an orb, it spawns another of the same character you're playing. So now you get 2 of them, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know how many you can get in total. But it gets absolutely wild sometimes trying to micromanage them all at the same time, because your inputs affect all of them at the same time. And yet they are slightly positioned away from each other. They can't all be just clustered together at once. So it creates this crazy dynamic of like, okay, the more there are of you, the more damage you do because they're all shooting at the same time. And yet you're gonna create some hazards because you can't save all of them. So you're just like trying to prioritize which group of penguins you should keep an eye on and save instead of the other ones. So because all of these 3 characters play so differently, revisiting all these levels feel like a different experience. You're pretty much triple dipping the same levels, but it makes it feel different. That's just really smart game design. I actually played the candle character Paraffin first when I booted up the game, and I was like, damn, this is hard. I couldn't beat the first boss because it was really hard to reach them, and clearly my skills were not up to snuff just yet. So I did play a little bit of Piggy because it's more natural feeling for most gamers. You know, your usual point and shoot in the direction you want and just dodge with the one character. Instead of like Paraffin where you have to be like super careful where you're positioned. And then you got Turn, which is just batshit insane. I don't even know how you can beat the game with Tur without like crying every time you lose like 30 of them. You're like, oh crap, I gotta collect them all. But man, is it fun. I will try to beat this game with Tur one day. The saucer that chases you at the end of each level is actually the main boss fight usually as well. You fight it every time at the end with some sort of twist. The boss fights themselves are pretty creative, and it was a good time. But yeah, I really wanted to show this game off because it really deserves more attention than what it has at the very moment. It just came out recently too, so honestly, if this game looked interesting to you whatsoever, check it out on the Steam store page and give it some love. It's like $5. And if you don't want to buy it right away, wishlist it, as that helps the developer a lot. I'll put the URL in the description and in the comment section if you want to click on it immediately and check it out, and maybe check the trailers as well. If you'd like to see more of this kind of content, subscribe to the channel, as I'll be on the hunt for more interesting indie games to show off. And yeah, I'll see you around.